Well, it looks like Hillary Clinton does think it's reasonable to compare GOP presidential candidates to terrorists.
Extreme views about women, we expect that from some of the terrorist groups. We expect that from people who don't want to live in the modern world. But it's a little hard to take coming from Republicans who want to be the president of the United States.
Also, in a separate development, Fox News has obtained emails today in which former President Bill Clinton was seeking State Department permission to give speeches in repressive countries like North Korea and the Congo. Back with me, Pete Hegseth, Chris Hahn, and Christian Whiten. I did it right? Isn't it?
Yes.
Let's take it to you, Chris. What do you make of Hillary's comparison of the GOP presidential frontrunners, comparing them to terrorists?
Well, look, it's the Trumpification of American politics. Everybody's looking to say the most extreme thing to get a little press right now. And while I don't agree that they're terrorists, there is a string of theological debate going on within the Republican Party where they're similar to a theocratic government that wants to impose religious views on their constituencies. And I don't know that it's fair to call them terrorists, but when you hear Mike Huckabee talk about his views on women, well, you know what? That's based on something other than the Constitution, and it's something that we should be very afraid of in this country.
Yeah, Pete, some people have said, you know what, take this conversation out of politics and just make birth control over the counter without a doctor's prescription,
Well, yeah, there's a lot of legitimate discussion to be had. He wants to talk about the Constitution. I don't see there's no right to privacy in the Constitution. That, of course, was carved out through the Supreme Court. I mean, listen, there's legitimate differences in discussion.
What are you saying?
You just said that Mike Huckabee talking about the Constitution means that he's somehow analogous to terrorists when it comes to women's issues. It's ridiculous.
You're
pointing at Donald Trump and Mike Huckabee and their stance on women and reproductive issues to terrorists, to ISIS. Like, this is what Democrats do. They obfuscate and try to double down on the war on women to try to get away from the real issue, which is responsible stances about how, in this country, different people look at views of how women handle reproductive rights.
And people like Mike Huckabee want government so small it fits into a woman's vagina or into your bedroom, and that is not constitutional.
Wait, just hang on a second. Hang on. By the way, Chris, I love your Chris Hahn, I love your clever spin on that West Wing line just there. But let's get to Mr. Whiten there. What do you think of this whole controversy?
Well, if you ask Americans, are you pro-life or pro-choice, it's about even now. When I was younger, of course, the pro-choice won out, but it's about even. And when you ask Americans, should they be forced to essentially pay for abortions because they are funded by taxpayers, they're overwhelmingly opposed. This is a big issue. So it's actually Republicans in this case who have the majority. They are not the extreme. It's another instance where the Democratic Party, you have all these articles about how the Republicans are beholden to their right.
All right, we got to jump to we have to jump to the email. Wait, hang on. Now, what do you make, Mr. Whiten? Is it a big deal? Is it going to be a problem for Hillary Clinton that her husband was trying to give a speech in North Korea or the Congo? You got a short amount of time there. What do you think? Good or bad?
Well, the nice thing is they told Bubba, no, you can't go speak in the Congo or to North Korea. But it's appalling that a former president in this family would ask that thing. These are the world's worst human rights abusers.
Chris, what do you think? Chris Hahn.
Haven't we all gotten an invitation that we said, let me ask my wife because we didn't really want to go and we didn't want to have to say no? I think he's just being polite. Come on.
I think there was a big old paycheck at the end of that rainbow, and that's what the Clintons were all about.
Come on. Give me a break.
Well, what do you think, though? I mean, Mr. Whiten, it would have been bad if Bill Clinton all of a sudden was in a photo, shoot or a photo with the leader of the Congo or North Korea. I mean, I'm not saying he's that, he knows what he's doing. He likely wouldn't have done that. But it doesn't look good right now, right, Mr. Whiten? Final word, 5 seconds.
Well, it doesn't. And actually, President Clinton did request. It wasn't just one request that was shot down by Cheryl Mills, the counsel to Hillary Clinton at the State Department. It was repeated requests. And the thing is, it's one thing if you go over there to negotiate the release of prisoners or talk about human rights or whatever, but to get a big paycheck is bad.